Hello, good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday. And it is day 20 of Inktober, and we've got a lovely little prompt word for today. We're going to do a very classic little drawing. And hopefully, hopefully you will have a nice, chill, relaxed time. There is a little bit of building noise going on in the background, so hopefully that is not too annoying for you. I think hopefully it's a hopeful day, guys. Hopefully my microphone will drown it out a bit or not pick it up, so fingers crossed. If so, you can always just mute me, follow me around, don't follow me around, follow along with me, and put some nice music on, because actually it's relatively simple, can be abstract session today. So sounds very similar as all sessions, but today it's a nice word. The prompt word is coral. 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 So let's get on with it, shall we? Spin. Yeah, like so. And I've got slightly different paper today because I ran out and they didn't have the same size as I wanted. This paper. Normally I use the hot pressed one, but today this is the cold pressed. So cold pressed watercolor paper has a little bit of a texture you can kind of see there. But we'll see how it goes with the dip pen. I don't think it will be, normally with dip pens you want to use a smooth surface, but we'll see how we go. So I'm going to use the ink, actually, do you know what? I'm going to use the brown ink again today for the coral, I think. And let's just show you this satisfying, if you can even see it. Did you see that? No, not really. Well, it just popped and it's beautiful. Okay, so we're going to start by just doing lots of little curled U shapes, basically as if you're drawing the end of your finger. See, let's even draw the end of the finger, although my finger's a bit too fat, so I'm going to do shape like that. And we're just going to have them kind of all over the place, all pointing in the top left-hand direction. Some of them can be a bit longer, kind of all roughly pointing. And I'm doing it in kind of diagonal line. I'm not going to go above this line, but I might go below it a little bit and not too far on this side. So I'm going to leave maybe like 3 fingers gap on this side. So the last one I would do is maybe like there. Okay, but really just place them wherever. You could do a double, you could do a triple. Oh, look at that. And then as they can kind of fan out, and as they come towards the bottom, they can go a little bit more to the side, or they can stay at the top, going up to the top. Just really kind of random. Don't worry, don't think about it too much. And the beauty in this is that all of our drawings will be a little bit different, you know? Okay, so I've done about that many, so I've got a good covering. And now I'm going to draw a plan. I basically want to draw a kind of wobbly line that connects some of these, going kind of in and out and then back in. So I'll show you what I mean. So down here, for example, I could bring this down and then connect it up to this one, connect it up to there, but it's a wobbly line. Encapsulate that one, bring it all the way down to this one. Bring that around there. No real rules. I just want to create some dips into these wobbly bits, and so you can also overlap. Bring that down there. No drama, no stress. You can add little knobbly bits as you go. And then you can have these random bits kind of just poking out as and when. Let's finish this bit down here, bring that around. Like that. Okay, and then on the other side, we're going to do the same thing, except the finger marks are going to be pointing the opposite way. So we're basically going to be creating an object that's all wobbly with this side closed, and it can also go off the page if you don't have enough space. So let's do a couple of these there, maybe a big one down here, a little wave there, and a very complicated one down here. Like that. Maybe another. A few like that. And then again, we're just going to form a wobbly line that kind of loosely connects them. So I could bring this one in really far and then back out. Could add kind of a little wobble there. Bring this one in as well, really far. Ooh, look at that, creating an interesting slim center bit there. And then bring that one behind there. Because coral is like natural thing. It just has its own form. There's no correct way to do it, and then you can obviously kind of have it coming off the page, or you could have it as an object in itself. I'm going to ground mine at the base of the page, I think. Okie dokie. So you see I've got this blobby bit of ink. That's just because I'm using the dip pen. Yours will probably look more even. But now I would recommend that we go in and add some highlights and add some shading and add some bits and bobs, like little marks and stuff, to make it look a bit more real. So one thing you can do is do a little swirl, like a little tree trunk intersected. Is that the right way to say it? And kind of do it as a little trunk poking out. That's quite cute. It's as if it's been kind of like cut off. So I'm going to do a couple of them to add a bit of variation to my coral. Maybe one more down here. So just a little swirl, and then it can have a fat stump or a thin stump, whatever. You can also come behind some of the work, or maybe I'll do it this one, where there's three things here, and kind of act as if it's a hollow bit. So you add another bit there, and then in this bit you can do a bit of cross hatching to suggest that it's shaded, getting darker as you go in. That just gives a little bit of depth there, and you can continue to do that all the way around with the different points. So because I've got this blobby bit here, I think I might add a kind of chunk coming out there, and then use the ink to kind of shade that bit. Maybe I'll add another bit there, and that can be part of the same bit. Really playing it by ear, just adding bits of depth. You could also add kind of just little marks towards the tips, giving it a little bit of texture. Like that. Or you could go like really decorative and do lovely patterns or swirls or something. It doesn't have to be like realistic coral. Could also do, I mean, this is just a slow build up of kind of marks to make it look a bit more interesting. Or you could keep it as a line drawing. But let's see, maybe you could do kind of like swirly bits. Not sure, I'm making this up. Could look interesting, as if it's kind of giving it texture. That makes it a little bit crazy then. It's a bit distracting. So maybe I only do this down the base, because I quite like the clear line that we've achieved. our marks, and then I can shade the knobbly bits of it down there. Or if you have a different colour, that might be more effective to do this kind of distracted style, because it won't take so much attention. You can see it's just a really gentle, subtle kind of mark making method, which kind of just builds up slowly the depth that you're looking for. Just do random little marks. It's actually really satisfying with the dip pen. Do let me know if any of you have invested in a dip pen, because it's not really an expensive investment. You can get the nib for well, it depends where you go, but you could get it for as little as like, I think 20p, 20 cent or so, up to probably like €1, £1 for a nib. You can buy a bag of them if you know what nib you like. And then the pen holder is not expensive, and you can just buy one pen holder and exchange the nib. And then a bottle of ink, depends on the brand again, but you could probably find one for a couple of quid, I'd say. I want to give it a try. It's not like when you start, painting, there's always quite a lot to invest in. I mean, watercolor's not too much, and with watercolor, when you invest in a palette or whatever, it usually lasts you a jolly long time. So if you get into it, it's totally worth the investment. So it might look a bit far away. I'll show you a little close up while I'm doing it. So literally just little marks, nothing too perfect, all just giving it a little feeling of texture as it comes towards the top. And of course, if you want to, I just got this idea off Google Images. I just typed in coral illustration, and this was just one of the stock images that came up, but it doesn't really even look necessarily like this. I just got the idea of how to form coral. So feel free to, again, if you're enjoying this, go use Google's magic to find lots of inspiration for compositions, or just to start you off. With the Inktober challenges, that's what I've been doing. Every day there's a new prompt, and I'll just I'll think about first what I want to draw, try and keep my mind, and then I will type in the prompt word plus illustration into Google search, and then I'll just see what comes up. But usually there's only one type of, or one interpretation of the word, usually the most obvious interpretation. So, but somehow it kind of gives me a ground to start from, to think about how I can turn it into my own interesting illustration. That's a little tip for you if you're like, what to draw, if you don't know what to draw. Think of a word, type it into Google with illustration or drawing, and see what comes up, and see if anything kind of triggers you into making. Or you can go, I used to use the Instagram search function, or just explore function even, a lot, but I stopped doing that a bit because I wanted to decrease my scrolling time, and that is a surefire way to waste a little while scrolling. So I tend to use my laptop a bit more now, and my phone a little bit less for that. top tip. You know, don't get me wrong, I still love a good scroll. What addict doesn't? But so I'm just going to shade a little bit of the edges because I think I'm tempted to leave it as it is because I do quite like this simple line drawing, but I think I want to give it a little bit of weight. So yeah. Just by doing simple lines on the edge like that. Now I think actually this would look really lovely with a little bit of watercolor on it too. But just want to acknowledge how kind of simple the process of this creating quite, I'd say it's relatively realistic. You can definitely see that it's coral, right? And the process of creating this, it just takes time. That's the thing. Is, you know, people say, "Oh, I can't draw," blah blah blah. It's just, are you willing to sit down for 20 minutes and make the same mark over and over again? If you are, then you can draw this. It's really not that complicated, I hope, anyway. I hope you're not sitting there thinking, Ness, you got no idea. And hopefully you're feeling satisfied, maybe more satisfied than from yesterday's drawing, although I really like the outcome of it, but there was a moment where I was like, oh no, this one's a fail, but actually now I like it. I think with characters or cartoon-like drawing, it can, you know, be a bit hit and miss, but because sometimes the faces can look a bit silly. Maybe silly is the wrong word. So in this scribble that I made down here, I'm just going to add a little bit more kind of suggestion of texture down the bottom. And this actually ties in quite nicely with I've recently just seen some coral on the screen because I watched David Attenborough's new film on Netflix, which I would highly recommend. And there's lots of amazing footage of under the sea, in the ocean, in the coral reefs. He talks about how some parts the coral started going white, and at first he was like, wow, it's so beautiful, but then he realized it was very tragic because it meant that the coral was turning into skeletons of coral. But yeah, I definitely recommend it. I know lots of people have mentioned it and said, check it out. But yeah. Coffee! So spoiled. Oh, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Now the day's started. Now the coffee is here. That's very, very important to me. Okay, so you can see how we've been building it up. I'm not sure about this bit, but at least it creates a little bit of an interesting contrast from, you know, up here. I'm thinking like a heavier application down here is what I want. It's actually quite helpful to look in the screen because I can see parts where I need to kind of add a bit. Another tip, if you're working on a piece, it's often hard to see the perspective of how it really looks. It sounds weird if you're sitting right on top of it. So sometimes it can help to prop it up and walk away from it and then come back, walk towards it. And then sometimes it can help to flip the page completely around and see whether or not it looks like a sound composition. That's another little tip that you can easily do. So I can show you. I think, that looks all right. It looks all right to me. It's better like that, in my opinion. But yeah, little tip, especially if you're doing a big painting. That's always helpful. So I'm just going to add a little bit more here. I really like the brown that I've used, the brown ink. I think that it lends itself quite nicely to today's subject. Just adding some little rows of ripples, texture. And you could add some kind of like personalized bits and make it kind of, you know, a bit more of your own. Scribble down there without some got any frustration in you, a little scribble. But I think I'm going to leave it there for today. I think I'm going to wash off my dip pen. So yeah, 20 minutes of calm application, and that looks like coral to me, so I think we've done a good job. But I may add a background with watercolor, maybe a kind of blue wash or so. I'm not going to do that now. I think I'll wait. Yeah, but let's give you another close up if you're interested. There's my scribbly. It's really scribbly, you see, but from when you look at the whole picture, it's quite effective. Just these gentle marks all the way up, creating our nice coral reef. There we go. Day 20, boom, in the bag. So I hope you enjoyed today. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, send pictures on my way of your work on Instagram, and I'll be back here tomorrow for a nice word tomorrow as well. I'm liking this week a lot more than last week. Let me tell you that for free. So take care of yourselves and have amazing Tuesdays, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.